So there are a few things that I wish I knew before taking Lexapro, and I've been taking Lexapro now for approximately, I think, 4.5 months. There are some things that I didn't really consider beforehand that I wish someone told me before I started using Lexapro. Let's get into some of those things that I wish I knew someone told me before starting Lexapro. And the first thing that I really notice is that while Lexapro really works, the downside of the effects of Lexapro is that it doesn't only causes you to have less anxiety, but it also makes you feel less in general. Before, my emotions were kind of this roller coaster, and now I notice that everything is just a little bit more flat or a little bit more neutral. And sometimes that's a really good feeling that it just doesn't bother me as much as it did before. But the downside is that I do notice that some of the positive emotions are also a little bit less. This is actually a common side effect of antidepressants or anti-anxiety medication, but yeah, before you take it, you don't really realize the effects of that. And some days I think it is a really big downside for me, but the other days I'm feeling just completely fine and normal and relaxed, and then I don't mind as much. But yeah, sometimes it bothers me a little bit, and it bothers me also that I don't feel the negative emotions as much, because sometimes I think that I should be feeling certain emotions, or I should be feeling really sad and then I don't feel really sad. But also the other way around, that I notice that sometimes things would make me feel way more enthusiastic or happy in general. And now that feeling is also a bit less. So it's kind of this emotional numbing, and it's really not that I don't have any emotions at all, but everything is just a little bit less. That has its upsides, but it also has its downsides. It's kind of the price you have to pay. It sounds really heavy when I say it like that, but I do think that's kind of the trade-off that you're making. So everything is a little bit less. The negative feelings, the anxiety is less, but also the positive feelings are a little bit less. Yeah, and the second thing I wish I knew beforehand is that I've read, and I don't know this yet how it's going to be, but that it is quite difficult to stop taking Lexapro or antidepressants in general. And I noticed that they don't really speak about this. They really talk about the first phase when you're starting to take the medication, and that it can take a while, and the side effects that you might experience, but they don't really talk about the fact that it is going to be really tough when you quit the medication. And you can say, of course, that they don't have to talk about it because it's not happening right now, you're just starting, so why discuss it? But I do think it should be discussed, that you realize that, okay, it might be something that works really good right now, but the moment you want to quit, it's not something that you can just quit. It is a process, and it is something that you have to do with the guidance of your doctor or your GP. And it's not something that you can do just by yourself, because you can have this kind of withdrawal effects that I've read can be quite tough. I wish I knew that before I started taking Lexapro. Okay, so the third one is that I noticed that I'm not as sharp as I was before. And this, of course, has also something to do with the numbing of the emotions, or at least I think it has something to do with that. But I noticed that I'm just not as focused as I was before. And it may be also because I noticed that before I was like really alert and really on and really kind of sharp in that way. And now, because I am more relaxed, I kind of lost that sharpness. And yeah, it's kind of something that I think I just have to adjust to that feeling that I'm not really highly focused and really alert the whole time, but I'm just a little bit more chill and a little bit more relaxed. And that is also the point of the medication, is that you're not really highly alert the whole time. And I think I just have to adjust to that feeling. Okay, and the fourth thing that I noticed is that they said it didn't really matter if you take it in the morning or you take it in the evening. And I started taking Lexapro in the morning because of the point I made before, is that I don't feel as sharp as I did before, and sometimes a little bit foggy or not really there. I thought it was a good idea to switch it to the evening, because when you take it in the evening, then the highest dose or the highest level of the medication in your blood is during the night, and then at the end of the day it's at the lowest point, and then you start taking the medication again. While I started with taking it in the morning, and then the biggest effect of the medication is during the day. So I thought it could be a good idea of switching it, that I felt a little bit more focused during the day. But what I realized is that immediately I felt that this wasn't the best idea for me, at least, and I noticed that during the day I already felt the effects of the medication wearing off. I don't really know, of course, if that is caused by me switching my medication from the morning to the evening, but I did notice immediately that I felt that kind of anxiety coming back already, and also my social anxiety because of that, and that was really crazy to notice. And now I changed it back again, so now I'm taking it in the morning again, and I noticed that the effects are the good effects are back again. So for me, at least, it did make a difference to take it in the morning instead of taking it in the evening. So that's something to consider, switching this up, and maybe notice the effects and notice if it makes a difference for you, yes or no. And the last thing is that I really wished I knew that something like this was out there, that there was a medication that could work for my anxiety, for my social anxiety. And I tried a lot of things before, and I've dealing with anxiety and social anxiety for, I don't know, since I was, I think, 13 or 14. And I tried a lot of things like therapy, CBT, that's cognitive behavioral therapy. And I know the principle, I'm a psychologist myself. And the thing that bugged me the most was that it focused, and that is what CBT does, it really focused on changing the way you think. And I really do believe in this principle, of course. But for me, it was just something that, I don't know, my mom has it, my grandpa had it. It is something I think is just genetic with me. And of course, it's not only genetics, it's also your mindset. It really, really is important. But I notice now that my physical symptoms are gone, and that really affects my, how I think and how I perceive things, and that I am more relaxed, and I am less scared of things that I was scared of before. So it sometimes makes me a little bit mad that, for example, people with ADHD get medication and people with diabetes get medication. But when it comes to mental health, then we all of a sudden focus on, just changing the way we think. Well, sometimes it's just not that simple, and sometimes we need a little bit of help. And we need some medication, and we need also a change in those neurotransmitters. So I wish I knew there was something out there like this. Of course I knew there was medication for mental health disorder, but I didn't really realize that there was something that could help me as good as Lexapro does for me. I wish I knew before that Lexapro, or that there are some anti-anxiety medications out there that can really, really help. Okay, this is it for today, my update on Lexapro. And if you have any questions, please let me know down in the comment section. And I hope I'll see you next time again.